With Anime of the Year always being a heavily debated discussion of why aura outweighs philosophical storytelling, I thought I'd let people know that the Anime of the Year has already been decided and voting hasn't even started. Any guesses? No need, because even though it's not finished airing, the narrative is already set. This year's winner of Anime of the Year is I'm just kidding. My Hero Academia Season 8. And here's why. To put it simply, we've become very predictable. It's only a matter of time until every nominee every year is an isekai, where the main character is OP with mad riz and a harem, or the character does more screaming and grunting than developing. It's very rare we get shows at the quality of Frieren or Vinland Saga, for example, and yet the point stands that regardless of story, development, world building, etc., badass screaming with the side of aura will outweigh any writing ability. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy it too. But it says a lot that it is the same formula that wins every year recently, and I hope we can change that with due time. Either way, why My Hero, you might ask? No, it isn't because of your favorite Deku and Bakugo ship, or because Deku ate a piece of hair to become the strongest. There is actual merit for this result. I don't agree with it, but I cannot deny its legitimacy, so let's get into it. Though not as highly talked about as the classic big three of Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach, My Hero, Jujutsu Kaisen, and Demon Slayer have stepped up as the modern fill-in big three of shonen. Not nearly as good, might I add, but still amazingly animated with the best fight choreography in, well, ever. Obviously, there is still the big one, with One Piece, but other than that, these are the three biggest shows consistently airing. Now, between the modern big three, Demon Slayer won the award in 2019 over Vinland Saga, and Jujutsu Kaisen won the award in 2020 over nothing. It deserved it that year. But it won it again in the hybrid era of 2022 and 2023 over Vinland Saga Season 2. Now, I'm sorry, Vinland fans. Also, if you thought this was just Vinland standing, you're not wrong. But then what's the excuse for Solo Leveling Season 1 beating the highest rated anime of all time, Frieren, last year? I'm not even a Frieren fan. Come on. Sorry to ramble. Back to the point. This being My Hero's final season, it makes perfect sense for it to take the award, as it's the only modern Big 3 shonen that hasn't won it yet. My Hero has been nominated twice in the past, but this was during the era of which the awards were kinda underground, so shows with a more plot-driven structure had higher odds of winning. And then in the future years, it just didn't have the quality or hype to get a nomination. That's where this year is different. It has the quality backing with very good animation 8 episodes in, and the stakes are at its highest point right now, generating the maximum hype this series has seen in the past 5 years easily. Now, assuming it continues this level of animation for the last 3 episodes, it has the critical acclaim of great ratings across various websites, legacy of being mainstream for years, and with it being the final season, depending on how this finale shapes out, it could get a lot of votes for being officially over and done with. And truth be told, it does stand out in comparison to previous My Hero seasons, so even though it's mainly here due to the formula, it is actually quite good. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But what does it say about the viewer that TikTok brain rot is more appealing than the inspiration for these shows? I mean, really, look at Naruto and One Piece characterization versus these modern shows. You think Naruto and One Piece are slow, when in reality these new shows are just very fast and leave little time for storytelling in place of seeing impact frames. At least for me, there's only so much animation I can do with when I really don't give a shit about these characters. However, enough bitching. Looking at its competition this year, it's not the strongest, but that's due to various reasons. I'd like to remind those who don't know how the award calendar works due to constant changes, that this year Crunchyroll is sticking to the anime that aired from January 1st to December 31st of 2025. So, unlike previous years that avoided recency bias, somewhat, this year will end with My Hero, essentially, so depending on the voting date, it will have a lot of people still thinking about the finale. So, without further ado, it's competition. Solo Leveling Season 2. For some reason, this show seems to be allowed as a candidate, since technically the Anime of the Year award only took into account Season 1 of Solo Leveling, the winner of last year. But we all know that it only won last year because the voting for the 2025 awards took place in April of this year. In Season 2 of Solo Leveling, mind you, Season 2 did not count, but it ran until the end of March, which, just to remind you, Wasn't a part of the voting, but you never know because the voting took place a few weeks after season 2 aired. It was overall just a shitty system of voting, and since it could be in this year's voting as well, I technically decided to note it, but I don't think it will win, since it's already won last year's award and it's been quite a bit since it aired. Dawn to Dawn. It has great animation, and it's funny, but I just think it lacks the legacy that My Hero has to pull off this win. Good show though. Lord of Mysteries, To Be Hero X, and Gachi Akuta. They're all stunning visually. I enjoy all three of these shows, but all three of them lack the mainstream appeal to take on MHA. And this is coming from a To Be Hero X fan that prefers it over My Hero. It's just not relevant enough, but hey, you never know. Maybe in 2028, any of these three shows could take it, just not now. Couldn't forget about One Punch Man Season 3, anime's very own GTA 6. It absolutely flopped, and I'll honestly be surprised if it's a nominee. I might have to make a documentary-style video discussing that downfall. Takabe's Original Sin, in my opinion, by quality, deserves some kind of recognition, but with the meta still being fights and aura, I just don't see it pulling off the upset. Plus, it's kind of short. Demon Slayer and the Chainsaw Man movies. So I'm not sure if either will actually count for Anime of the Year, but even if so, My Hero is going to get the recency votes since it will end closer to the end of the year, even though I think Chainsaw Man arguably has a better story, especially this movie arc. Lastly, Apothecary Diaries. It's more story-driven than spectacle, which unfortunately means it doesn't meet the meta of screaming and aura. Sorry. So that leaves us with My Hero Academia, Season 8. And My Friend's Little Sister Has It In For Me. It's a tough choice, but I'm leaning towards My Hero for this year's awards, unfortunately. Like I said, it meets the bill. Crazy animation, final season, aura and fights, legacy buildup, high ratings, and most importantly, great timing for the recency. I'll send every person who subscribes a V-Bucks gift card if I'm wrong, but I sadly don't think I will be. And don't get me wrong, I think a lot of these shonen are awesome and are high-octane fun, but anime as of late, with the exceptions of some peak every now and then, feels very repetitive, and I hope if people wake up, we can start releasing more shows like I Can't Believe I Got Reincarnated as an Ungdung 6 days away from extinction in a world where everyone feels like they're reciting lines from a play. Yes, that is a real title of an anime, and of course it's an isekai. And I mean, of course, another show like Rent a Girlfriend, of course. But I don't know, in all seriousness, it is what it is. I hope you guys enjoyed, and until next time, peace out.